There's one number that decides whether you should buy or lease your next car. It's not the monthly payment. It's not the interest rate. Almost nobody calculates it. The average American is spending $767 a month on a car loan right now for up to 6 years. That one decision, made in 20 minutes at a dealership, shapes your financial position for a decade. And it almost entirely comes down to one variable most buyers never think to ask about. I'm Amy. I found something in the consumer lending data most financial advisors walk straight past. In this video, the honest 10-year maths on cash, loan, and lease side by side. The exact year the calculation flips, and the interest rate rule that tells you whether you should even be financing at all. Stick around. At the end, I'll give you a 3-question framework you can run in 2 minutes before you sign anything. The average new car costs $47,465 in 2024. Walk into any dealership, and the first question you hear is some version of, what monthly payment works for you? It is a sales frame, not a service instinct, and it is the wrong frame for almost every buyer. The average loan runs $767 a month at 7.2% APR over 72 months. The average lease runs $659. That's $108 a month, over $1,000 a year. The conventional wisdom built up around that gap. Lower payment equals smarter choice. That logic isn't wrong. It's incomplete. It captures the first half of the story. The half it misses determines your financial position for the next decade. Let's give leasing a fair hearing, because for the first 5 years, the data genuinely supports it. Take a $45,000 car. The lease payment is $659 a month. The loan payment is $771 a month. Run that for full loan term 72 months, 6 years. The lease buyer paid 47,240 hours total. The loan buyer paid $55,550 total. The lease buyer came out $8,102 ahead in cash terms. Every month, they had $110 more breathing room. And they were never stuck with a repair bill inside the warranty period, which for a leased vehicle covers the entire term. The conventional wisdom looks correct. Same car, less money, no maintenance surprises, and the option to drive a newer vehicle at the next renewal. If you stop the analysis at month 60, leasing wins. No asterisks. But month 72 is exactly where the analysis should not stop, because what happens at month 73 changes everything. And dealers are perfectly comfortable letting you think the story ends there. This is the half they don't show you. Here's the name for what happens next, the renewal trap. When the 72-month loan ends, the payment stops. When a lease ends, it does not unless the driver stops leasing entirely and accepts whatever vehicle they currently have, which is nothing. Most people renew. They take another lease on another vehicle, and the $659 a month continues for another 36 to 48 months. And then again, run the full 10-year model on a $45,000 car. The lease buyer pays $659 a month for 120 months. Total outflow, $79,080. At the end of 10 years, they own nothing. A third lease cycle has already begun. The loan buyer pays $771 a month for 72 months. Total outflow, $55,550. The car is paid off. Then, for the remaining 48 months, the payment stops. That post-payoff period is where the loan buyer's position changes completely, because the $771 that was going to the lender is now available. The data shows what happens when that amount goes into a low-cost index fund at the historical S&P 500 return of 10% CAGR. $767 a month invested for 48 months compounds to approximately $45,300. At year 10, added up, the lessee paid $79,080 and owns nothing. The buyer paid $55,550, owns a car worth approximately $10,000 to $12,000, and has roughly $45,300 growing in the market. Now here is the number that makes this entire analysis legible, the crossover. The year when the cumulative cost of leasing overtakes the cumulative cost of buying falls around year 6 to 7 on a typical deal. Before that point, the lease buyer is ahead on cash paid. After it, the buyer pulls clear and never looks back. Most people who lease renew at 36 months, long before the math would have turned in their favor. They never see this chart. The system is not designed for them to see it. This is not an argument that leasing is bad. It's an argument that the answer depends on two things: your ownership horizon and your loan rate. Run these three questions in order before you sign anything. Question 1. How long do you actually keep your cars? Pull your own history. Look at your last 2 vehicles. Not how long you plan to keep them, but how long you actually kept them. Under 4 years, leasing is worth modeling. The loan hasn't paid down enough equity to matter, and you'd return the car before the post-payoff window opens. 4 to 6 years. It's genuinely close. Model it with your specific APR and mileage. Over 6 years, the data almost always favors buying. The post-payoff investment period is the dominant variable, and it's the one the monthly payment comparison never shows you. Question 2. Should you finance at all or pay cash? This is the interest rate rule. If your loan APR is below your expected long-run investment return, you should finance and invest the cash you would otherwise have spent. If the loan rate is above it, cash removes a guaranteed annual drag. The historical S&P 500 return is approximately 10% CAGR nominal. The current 72-month auto loan rate is approximately 7.2%. The spread right now is roughly 2.8 percentage points. Here is the household calculator moment. Financing $40,000 at 7.2% versus deploying that cash at 10% in the market produces a net annual difference of roughly 2.8%, about $1,720 a year. Meaningful, not enormous. In 2020 and 2021, when loan rates sat at 3 to 4%, that spread was 6 to 7 points, and the case for financing was compelling. Today, it is narrower. At a manufacturer 0% rate, always finance, always invest the cash. At 7% and above, paying cash removes a guaranteed annual drag. Question 3. Is it an EV? The $7,500 federal clean vehicle tax credit under the Inflation Reduction Act passes through to the lessor on a lease. In a competitive market, manufacturers pass that credit to the lessee as a lower monthly payment or a capitalized cost reduction. EV leasing surpassed EV loans for the first time in 2024. 46.6% of new EVs were leased versus 36.8% financed. That shift is not a coincidence. The credit math drove it. But run the EV through the same ownership horizon test. The $7,500 narrows the monthly gap significantly. If you plan to keep the car 8 or more years, buying and capturing the credit directly, if you are income eligible, may still win. The credit changes the maths but does not override the ownership horizon question. It adjusts the crossover year, it does not eliminate it. One sentence: the dealership optimizes for the decision you make in the room. These 3 questions let you optimize for the decade after.